Hello everyone! In this video, we'll go over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Green Unit 18 words. You can follow along at home using your book. Let's get started. Our first word is boast. Boast is a verb and it means to speak proudly of oneself, brag, to take pride in. For example, the team members tend to boast whenever they win. So you can think about boasting as kind of bragging about yourself. For example, saying that you are amazing, you did a wonderful job, you're very proud of yourself. That is boasting. Most people agree that it's okay to boast when you do something amazing. For example, let's say that you're an Olympic athlete and you win a gold medal. Of course, it's okay if you want to boast. But some people also think that boasting can be a bad thing. For example, this girl here, if she's always boasting about all of the things that she buys, like expensive purses or shoes or makeup, then maybe other people might become upset with her because she's boasting too often or too much. Some synonyms for this word are crow, exaggerate, flaunt, and overstate. Antonyms are belittle. We can also use boast as a noun, and it is talk that is too full of pride in oneself. For example, my boast about my grades drove away my friends. So in this sentence, there's a boy who's boasting about his grades. Maybe he got a really good score on his test, and he's just talking about how he's so smart and he's the best student and he can do anything. And when his friends kept hearing that, they became upset. So his boast drove away his friends. It made his friends want to go away. I could also say her boast about her new bag made her friend jealous. Some synonyms are self-praise, and an antonym is belittle again. Our next word is eloquent. Eloquent is an adjective, and it means showing the ability to use words clearly and effectively. So someone who's eloquent can speak, they can use words very clearly and very well. Effectively means well. So maybe they know many good words and their voice is very clear and strong, then we can describe them as being eloquent. The example sentence says, Martin Luther King Jr. was an eloquent civil rights speaker. If you've ever read anything about Martin Luther King Jr., then you know he was famous for an eloquent speech that he performed. Usually we can describe our leaders or maybe the people who work on the news as being eloquent. Some synonyms for this word are expressive, well-spoken, persuasive, forceful, and powerful. Antonyms are awkward and tongue-tied. Do you know anyone who's an eloquent speaker? Our next word is glisten. Glisten is a verb and it means to shine with sparkling light. And be careful with this word, although it has T-E-N inside of it, we don't pronounce the T sound. So we wouldn't say glisten, we would say glisten. Just imagine that this T is not here. Glisten. The example sentence says, I like to see the morning dew glisten in the sunshine. So in this sentence, there's some morning dew like this, just the little drops on the leaves in the morning. And when the sun hits these drops, they glisten, they shine, or they sparkle. I can also use glisten to describe something shiny like this nail polish. I can say, this is my favorite nail polish because it glistens in the light. It shines whenever the light touches it. Do you know anything else that can glisten? Some synonyms are sparkle, glimmer, glitter, shimmer, and gleam. And there are no antonyms for this word. Our next word is ideal. Ideal is an adjective and it means considered to be perfect. existing only in the imagination. So there's two ways we can use this word. It can be something that we think is the best. It's perfect, there's nothing better, so it is ideal. Or existing in your imagination means the perfect thing inside your head. When you think about how something should be, the ideal way that it should be, what would that be? So this sample sentence says, today was an ideal spring day. So the weather was so nice and it was not too hot or not too cold. It was perfect. So I can describe this day as being ideal. Another example would be, the ideal spot for a picnic is under this tree because it's shady and quiet. So this spot here is perfect. It's the perfect place to have a picnic. I could also say sunny weather is ideal for playing outside. It's the perfect weather for playing outside. Or another example would be, she is the ideal person to lead the class because she listens to everyone. Some classes have to choose a class leader, and the perfect person or the ideal person to be the class leader is someone who listens to everyone. So that is ideal. Some synonyms are supreme, flawless, exemplary, and ultimate. Antonyms are practical, pragmatic, and real. And ideal can also be used as a noun. It also means a person or a thing that is considered to be perfect. So the meaning is the same, we're just using it as a noun instead of an adjective. For example, my ideal is a world without violence. So in this sentence, we're not describing world or anything else. It's not an adjective. It's my idea. It's the thing that I would like, the thing that I think is perfect. So now ideal has become a noun. Another example would be, he is my ideal of a kind and helpful friend. So when you have an idea in your head of what the perfect friend is, he is the ideal of that friend. He is the perfect idea of that friend. Another example would be, a home with a large outdoor area is the ideal. It is the thing that people think is perfect, the thing that people want. Or I could also say, she believes honesty is the highest ideal. It's the most perfect thing. Some synonyms for this word are model or example. Antonyms are practical, pragmatic, and real. Our next word is infectious. Infectious is an adjective and it means caused or spread by germs and able or tending to spread from one to another. So something that is infectious means it can start with one person and then it can go to another person and so on. It doesn't only stay with that first person. We often talk about some diseases as being infectious. For example, chickenpox is a highly infectious disease. Chickenpox is when you get little spots all over your body. It's a kind of disease. And it's very infectious because if you touch someone, then they can get that same disease. So a lot of times infectious diseases are spread just by people breathing it in from the air or by people touching each other, and then the germs can go from one person to another person. That is infectious. And we can also use this word to talk about other things that can go from one to another. For example, laughter is often considered to be infectious. If one person starts laughing in a very funny way, then that might make other people also start laughing as well. So I can say, her laughter was infectious. Any kind of emotion really can be passed on from one person to another person. Some synonyms for this word are contagious and catching. And there is no antonym for this word. Our next word is invest. Invest is a verb and it means to put money into something that will earn interest or make a profit. Or it can also be to make use of for future benefit. Let's look at the example first. They will invest their money in stocks and bonds. A stock is kind of like having a small piece of a company. Let's use LG as an example. Maybe you have an LG refrigerator or TV in your house. And a stock would be if you put a little bit of your money to this company. So you give them a little bit of your money to buy a piece of their company. And if they do very well, if they start selling a lot of refrigerators and a lot of TVs, then you can get more money back than what you gave them. So that is called investing. And when you invest, you can make more. So a lot of people will invest their money into something so that they can try to make a profit. That means making more. But we can also invest other things like our time. For example, I can say, she invested her time in studying to get a better grade. So if you invest your time, then you'll do better on a test because you're giving your time to make something better. Here's another example. He's investing his time in learning how to play the piano so that later he can be really good. Maybe he wants to be a pianist in the future. So he's investing his time into it now so that it can improve. So that would be the future benefit. Something will be better in the future. Some synonyms for this word are spend, expend, and contribute. And there is no antonym for this word. Our next word is locate. Locate is a verb and it means to find the position of or to settle into a place. For example, I need to locate the highway on the map. So we often use this word locate when we're trying to find where something is. So in this sentence, someone is trying to find the highway. They need to locate the highway on the map so they can go to the place that they want to go to. Locate also means to put something somewhere or choose a place. For example, I can say, we decided to locate our tent next to the tree. So now I'm using this word as this second definition to settle into a place or to put into a place. So we put or we located the tent next to the tree. Another example would be the new store will be located in the center of town. That's the place where it will be put or the place that you can find it. And I could also say something like, she's trying to locate her phone because she can't find it. She's trying to find the position of her phone. Some synonyms for this word are discover, identify, pinpoint, detect, uncover, situate, build, and establish. And there are no antonyms for this word. Our next word is ripple. Ripple is a noun and it means a small wave. For example, the pebble caused a ripple in the pool. Have you ever thrown a pebble into a pond or a pool and then you see some lines like this that start to form? These lines would be called ripples. You can find them in any lakes or rivers naturally as the water is moving, or in water that's not moving. When you throw something in it, it can make these ripples. A synonym is vibration, and there are no antonyms for this word. And we can also use ripple as a verb. It means to form or cause small waves. So the definition is the same, but now it's the action. We are forming this or we are causing the waves. For example, I can say, a rowboat will ripple the surface of the lake. Think about when a boat like this with some oars that needs to row is moving on a lake, it makes these ripples in the lake. It makes the waves. Or another example would be, the flag rippled in the wind. Can you see the waves that are forming as the wind is moving the flag? Those are also called ripples. Some synonyms are ruffle and spread, and there are no antonyms for this word. Our next word is sufficient. Sufficient is an adjective and it means as much as is needed, enough. The example says, we have a sufficient amount of time to finish our task. So in this sentence, we have enough, remember sufficient means enough, time to finish whatever thing that we are doing. So we can use this word as another way to say we have time or there's enough time. Another example would be, we have sufficient food for the whole class. If you're having a class party and everyone brings some food, then there will be sufficient food. There will be enough food. And another example would be, you need sufficient sleep to stay healthy and focused in school. If you don't have sufficient sleep, then you'll be tired and you might not do well on your test. So that is sufficient. Some synonyms are adequate, plenty, and ample. Antonyms are insufficient, inadequate, deficient, lacking, sparse, and scanty. And our last word is uproar. Uproar is a noun and it is a state of noisy excitement or confusion. So when something is in an uproar, usually people are very excited or very confused, and maybe things are a little bit wild or crazy. For example, when I entered, I found the room in an uproar. So imagine that this teacher came into the room and all of the children are just doing whatever they want and running around and fighting like this. Then we can say that the room is in an uproar. Another example would be, the crowd was in an uproar when the home team scored the winning goal. You can imagine if their favorite team suddenly scores the winning goal, everyone would be very excited and very noisy, just like this here. So that is uproar. Have you ever been in a situation where there was an uproar? Some synonyms are disorder, commotion, and disturbance. Antonyms are calmness, serenity, and tranquility. And that's all for this video. We went over the vocabulary workshop Level Green Unit 18 words. Thank you so much for listening and see you next time. Bye!